No introductions, I'm just going to jump right into this, and let me start off by saying that I am not an atheist, as you would have guessed, but also I am not a Christian, as you might not have guessed. I'm also going to add that in no way do I despise or dislike or look down upon Mr. Dawkins. He has the credentials, the academic background, all of this to prove that he has something worth saying. This, and I do not personally know enough about him to make any kind of claim that he is a quote-unquote bad person or that he is in the wrong in what he says and does. Obviously, his choices are his own. And I'm going to make my opinion heard right now, which is in no way a decree of any kind of law, and by no means are you being forced right now to listen to it, that it was very petty of him to read his hate mail on YouTube, and I'm going to explain why. Now, within a group of people, no matter if they're Minnesota Vikings fans or cooks or people of extreme sports, within any group you look at, you'll always find extremists and people who are willing to jump into the battle headfirst and usually say things of less than high caliber. Knowing this, which you all should by now, it stands to reason that no one with half a brain who believed in God or was of the Christian faith would take the time to write, type, whatever, a letter of hate to Richard Dawkins. I promise you, if you make a blog right now on any common broad subject that people tend to engage in, like maybe you could write, "I don't like football," and you'll get these people writing you emails by the droves, I promise you, and they'll be just as intelligent as these emails that Richard Dawkins was reading. You would most likely scoff, and you would laugh at these emails, how poorly they were worded, how brief and open and broken their arguments were, how unvalid their points were, how minuscule, how petty, how unreasonable, the list goes on. But now, the great thinker, the great scholar, the great mind that is Richard Dawkins, he has decided to take these people on. These are people who are writing emails to him fueled on rage, irrationality, and spur-of-the-moment actions, which hold no weight in any words they might be able to formulate. No person with half a brain would take the time to write Richard Dawkins. Not because it's a waste of time, he is a great mind, but because will Dawkins be converted? No. And he probably won't be standing to reason with you, especially when you're screaming through an email forms of profanities and utter nonsense. No one anywhere presents any kind of valid case with these kind of actions. Yet Richard Dawkins appears to find great joy by stepping on pawns, and it doesn't help his case any bit. I don't know what his overall plan is, but making people think twice about believing in themselves or faith in yourselves or thinking for yourselves, these kind of actions by reading the emails of idiots simply does not help his case or his reputation. The only thing it does is make young atheists jump up in their seats like they were at a football game and the free t-shirt gun came around to their section. I think he has lost his moral high ground here. I think he has reduced himself to the mind of a teenage girl posting on MySpace. He's basically attention whoring while shooting fish in a barrel, and how hard is that? He is officially no better than the people he is mocking. In actuality, I kind of feel sorry for him, really. I am kind of saddened by seeing him reduce himself to this. And if you ask me, do I care about him personally? Do I care about his cause? No, I don't really care about either. But what I do care about is that a well-educated man who is supposed to be at the forefront of a movement and supposedly logical and encouraging free thinking and knowing that he is among the people who are supposed to be helping out and leading the human race by example, has decided to go onto YouTube and read a bunch of stupid emails from stupid people who have nothing relevant to say. Let's all have a laugh at the expense of the stupid people. Again, he is supposed to be at the top of the pantheon in terms of thinking, logic, reason, and these are the people overall who are supposed to be helping out and leading the human race by example, and yet there is no good example here. You know, I really wish atheists and the religious sector alike would just leave each other alone, honestly. I know we have to talk about issues like religion in school and evolution, but there's no sense in reading emails on your YouTube account to try to get a rise out of people or a laugh or a bunch of followers who can't think for themselves and are just going with the flow. Atheists really like to put down people of faith because they claim that they are supposed to love everybody or love thy neighbor, and yet they don't, by saying everyone's going to hell, and yet, on the other hand, they spend so much time making YouTube accounts and putting up billboards and just saying what idiots they are and that they can't even think for themselves. It's like calling the kettle black in a Bed Bath & Beyond at night. And I know this is a stupid, simple solution. People don't like simple solutions. They think everything has to be complex. They think the universe is complex with molecules and atoms and electrons. Everything that makes up everything is complex. Life is complex. The makeup of life is complex. So therefore all the problems and all the solutions must be complex. But Christians, stop telling atheists they're going to hell, and stop trying to convert them. Stop sending out your missionaries. Stop trying to save everybody. Alright? Atheists, stop taking the holier than thou by not being holier than thou and piggybacking on the discoveries and sayings of atheists before you. And alright, it's both of you guys really just need to settle down. And it's funny that I can't even say this. I can't even say that nobody knows what happens when they're going to die, because nobody's died yet, because in the society you have to belong. And I don't want to go into this too much, but people don't like it when someone does not claim a status of any kind. For example, people don't like it when I take my stance on religion, and that is, I have no time for it, and that I will find out when I die. They feel as though I have to say I'm an atheist or I'm a Christian, because one or the other either dictates what kind of person I will be and the routes I will be taking in terms of moral and just overall choices. And by picking neither road and just not talking about or discussing the subject implies that I'm either lazy, skirting the issue, or just not intelligent enough to come up with my own conclusions. The truth of the matter is that, as I said before, people expect you to belong to something. You could walk up to somebody one day you've never met before. Maybe you're starting a new relationship, maybe you've met a new friend, and the first thing they'll jump into is they'll try to place you in your group. Maybe they'll ask you, what's your favorite NFL team? What kind of music do you listen to? Do you like to go hiking? Do you like wine tasting? They're going to ask you everything from what's your religion, to what's your political beliefs, to what's your TV show of choice, right down to the bare bones so they can pinpoint what kind of person you are. They'll never tell you that they're judging you, because nobody likes to claim that, but subconsciously they are putting down on paper in their minds what kind of person you are based on what you do and what you like. People are scared and frightened and indifferent and unsympathetic towards the unknown and strange, and to claim something out of the everyday norm, or to claim nothing at all, falls into that category. And that's really all I have to say on why people don't like what I have to say. Sorry for the tangent. I'm going to end this now and say that if there is no God, then there would be no point in me telling everyone else otherwise, because they'd already be dead and there'd be nothing there. And if there is a God, I have to presume he thinks more logically than I do, and he understands that I was just trying to enjoy the life he gave me. Sorry again, that's a gross oversimplification. This entire thing was an oversimplification, but life is pretty darn simple if you really think about it. And if you're watching Richard Dawkins, don't bring yourself down to the level of the people you mock. The end.